Welcome back. How does a 26-year-old biomedical engineer make her way to become the first hijabi on Masterchef Canada? Let's find out the link between engineering and cooking by talking to Reem Ahmed, the first Muslim hijabi contestant on Masterchef Canada, a Canadian cooking show where contestants showcase their culinary talents. Reem, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with Reem. Who is Reem? Sort of what are your interests? What was your education like?
So Reem, I came to Canada 10 years ago with my parents and my brother. And initially I wanted to be a doctor.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. And you know how the system is in Canada, you have to go into undergrad first and then go into being a doctor. And I thought to myself, well, wouldn't it be great to be a engineer doctor? And I went into applying to biomedical engineering because the program sounded so interesting and sounded like it had a really good base in, you know, medical education. And I went in there, I didn't know what I was putting myself into. And
did you, but you went in there thinking, I love this and I want to do it kind of thing?
I did, yeah, I wanted to do this. And because like biomedical engineering is building the equipment to help the medical field, and that would be amazing, you know, if you're a heart surgeon and you need something, a device or something to help in the process, that would be amazing. And if you're a doctor that have that knowledge and information, that would be incredible. And when I went into the program, it was just pure software, electric, and it was only the last year that I kind of had my courses, the stuff that I like.
Like the ones that you're interested in from a medical perspective.
Yeah, but by that time I was drained and I was tired. Yeah.
So then how did your, so it sounds like you enjoyed what you studied, so how did that translate to your love for cooking? Was it just you got up one day and you're like, hey, I like to cook kind of thing, or?
It's not that. After the 5 years I spent in engineering, it's not about enjoying what you, it's not about loving what you're doing, it's about enjoying it and having a purpose in doing it. I didn't feel like I was putting much into the field. I wasn't really good at software or programming.
You mean after you graduated, or you were noticing that during the process?
My process, and then after graduating, the jobs that were available, they were all software engineering, and I wasn't. I'll be honest, I wasn't good at software, and I either wanted to do something in the pure biomedical field, which was really hard to find. Kept applying, I got nothing. So I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life doing software and things I don't like, or things I'm not gonna make a mark or have an impact in the world for. So I just stopped there and I was thinking of the next move.
So then how did cooking come into this?
Cooking came into this when I got married. That was when I actually started cooking and started experimenting. And my husband, poor guy, and it didn't start well off. It was I was burning food. I was burning the kafta. The first rice I made was like mashed rice, and it was terrible. I would be with my mom on the phone all the time. Mom, help! How do you do this? What can I do? It's burnt. So it was tough at the beginning. And then after I had my baby, I suffered from postpartum depression and anxiety. And at this point, you feel like you don't have a purpose. You feel like, what should I do next? Is this it? This is it? After like 4 or 5 years of hard working, you're just changing diapers and just talking. I started forgetting English. I started forgetting Arabic. I was just talking to a baby the entire time, and I was just in this zone. I lost contact with a lot of my friends, a lot of the outside world, and then I started,
Well, I guess going from, being really active and sort of studying biomedical engineering, which is a very challenging field, and being involved in that kind of thing, to then shifting into the role of a mother, not to undermine that, but I'm sure that is a complete shift in your lifestyle.
Don't get me wrong, like being a mom is the hardest job ever.
Of course, but it's definitely sort of a shift in terms of what your focus was then and what your focus is now. So, we'll talk about postpartum in a bit, but I want to get into, so at that point, you had your baby, you're going through these feelings. So where does MasterChef come in now into your story?
I was just sitting on the couch and watching Masterchef Canada.
And sorry, just to be clear, at this point you were going through postpartum and anxiety.
I was going, but I didn't admit it to myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew there was something wrong. I knew this is not the Reem I know, or this is not how I you know, take life on and do things.
Yeah.
So I knew something was off. I couldn't admit it to myself.
Okay.
And
so you're watching MasterChef.
I'm watching MasterChef, and I've been cooking now for 2 years. I've been getting better, and I was watching one of the episodes, and they were doing the challenges and the mystery box. I was like, I kept guessing. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna start with them and see if I can, you know, figure out a dish with them. And my husband was sitting there, and he's like, "Wow, why don't you apply for the show? You seem like you know how to do these things." I'm like,
"Okay,
what's up?"
Yeah,
I think I do. You know what? Inshallah, I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna get in. He's like, well, that would be great. I would have a really huge respect for you if they actually, you know, took you in after only cooking for 2 years. I'm like, okay, is that are you challenging me? He's like, no, I trust you. I'm just saying, you know. and I right away I went online, and right then I had my phone. I went online and I searched for auditions, and it was actually open then. I'm like, wow, I'm just gonna apply, and I filled in the application form. It's like they ask you questions about yourself, what's your favorite dish to cook, who taught you to cook, stuff like that, and they also had things for allergies. If do you have any allergies, do you have any religious dietary restrictions, and stuff like that. And I filled it in. I uploaded a photo of myself with Yahya, my baby, and I uploaded a video of my cooking, and I submitted the application a few hours before the deadline.
Oh, awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
And then how did that, so once you submit the application, I was reading online, it says it's actually a countrywide search, right? So how was the actual audition process like?
So the actual audition, you just stand in long lines, especially in Toronto. A lot of people go with their dishes for the auditions.
How many would you say approximately?
Thousands, probably.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone comes with their dishes.
Yeah.
They have to cook a dish and bring it.
And they advise you to not bring something that's gonna melt, for example. Like don't make ice cream, for example, and go for auditions, or something that has to stay hot to be eaten.
Okay, because you'll be waiting in line.
Exactly. You could be waiting for like few hours. So just bring something that, you know, could be eaten without compromising the taste or the flavor of it after a few hours of being cooked.
So you cooked your item, and then you waited online, and what was that process like?
It was something new. Finally, I'm doing something out of my comfort zone. You know, I've never done anything like that before. You know, like who would have thought I was just sitting there, and next I'm gonna be on, I'm gonna be watching myself on TV. It was just weird, and I felt like I'm challenging myself to do something different, and it felt good. It felt good. It's scary because I was looking at the line and there wasn't any Muslims there or hijabis.
Wow, okay.
Like I'm sure maybe there were Muslims, but I mean, like, I haven't seen anyone visible. And I was like, where's everyone? And when I went into the audition, they're like, where are you guys?
Wow,
you're
really?
the first hijabi we've seen. Like, where no one ever applied before.
And they actually said that to you?
They're like, where are you? And it got me thinking to myself, why we keep complaining about not being represented, but no one actually took the initiative to be there and to be represented. Because we're watching the show for people who like MasterChef, and it's been like 4 seasons. This one is the 5th, and we've never seen like a hijabi on the show. And I'm pretty sure people kept asking, where are the hijabis? And apparently we never applied, so that's why. So
the panel actually, they're the ones, when you came in, they basically told you where are the hijabis or where are the Muslim women and men, I guess. And how did that make you feel? Like, I guess when you were standing in line, obviously you weren't seeing any Muslims, and then you go in and you hear that. How did that process? How did that work for you as, you know, as a Muslim woman who was very empowered? You did biomedical engineering. Like, how did that make? Like, what went through your mind in terms of like sort of just thinking about representation of Muslims in the media?
I had two thoughts. The first one was like, you know, I am proving a lot of people wrong about what they have in mind about, you know, Muslims or hijabis, and I can finally, you know, tell them who I am, that I'm just a regular girl who likes to drink coffee, who does all the regular Canadian stuff, you know, and I wanted to do that. Just, I didn't want to go and talk on the show about being a Muslim or hijabi. I said before that through actions you can do many things. It's your actions that prove who you are. Will an oppressed woman just go pursue a career in engineering? Will her husband let her do this or do that, and encourage her to go on TV or apply to a show like that? And I think like if people watch my journey, they could have their answers and prove their point and you know, probably clear the image. And the second thing is I felt a lot of pressure. You know, I'm going there finally.
Pressure from who? And
it's actually funny because I did not just feel the pressure from people I'm trying to impress and prove wrong. I'm also feeling the pressure from my community. Am I going to represent those beautiful, brave, smart women in the best way possible, or am I going to disappoint them? Are they going to be, you know, impressed by the way I cook and act on the show, or they're going to criticize me? And I started, you know, feeling really anxious about the process because it's not an easy thing to go.
But this is after you got selected?
This
or
is
were you feeling
during.
this
Everything
during the
is during, because like I was confident with my dish when I went for the audition, alhamdulillah, and because I like put in a lot of techniques in it, and I was sure they will see that in it. And it was also my grandmother's, you know, signature dish. So, and my mom.
Amazing.
And like the charcoal idea, that's my grandmother.
So sorry, what was it? Just so our viewers know.
So it was charcoal shawarma. Like you cook the chicken shawarma, and then at the end of the cooking, you add an ignited charcoal.
Oh, you're making my mouth water. Wow.
Sorry. And it gives this, you know, the flavor of the barbecue, but you did not barbecue. You didn't spend hours barbecuing. You just give it that nice flavor. And I did the stuffed vegetables, the rolling, the mashi. So you make your stuffing and you roll it, or you core the vegetable and you stuff it in. And it's like techniques that they haven't seen on the show before. So I was confident that they will see the you know, the uniqueness of the dish.
And so how did you deal with all of those feelings, like, you know, the community pressures and all of that going into it? And also, I'll just add, I know on your bio on CTV, you actually say that as you were embarking on this journey, you're hoping to empower or show moms who are going through anxiety and postpartum that they can really do anything. So walk me through that, sort of through the, you know, pre-going into MasterChef and sort of the audition process of that.
Okay, so getting over the fear and getting over the anxiety, I was just saying my du'as, and I was saying, you know what, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to be a Reem on the show, and it's not hard to be yourself. It's hard. What's hard is not being yourself, is acting that you're someone else. And that helped me a lot, like just being me. That's what helped me go through this. And I wanted to tell all the women out there, all the mothers out there, especially those suffering from depression or anxiety. I know how it feels, just feeling helpless, feeling that you can't get out of bed to do things. The only thing you could do is, you know, feed your baby, play with your baby, help him, you know, introduce him to life. You're the only thing he knows, and you're the only thing he trusts and depends on. And I wanted them to know that you can be more than that. You can still be an amazing mom and still find your passion and know who you are, not just as a mom, but as an individual, as a person who can have a great impact in the society. And especially these days, we need to get out there. We need to show who we are. We need to show everyone that we're strong, we're independent. We need to put our mark. And that's what was pushing me. I was like, you know, if what I'm doing is not gonna have an impact, is not gonna have a mark, then I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna do something that's, you know, that's powerful. Raising my kid to be a great person, and having a representing Muslim women on, you know, social media.
Well, I think you're doing a phenomenal job. Thank you so much for taking the time and coming on our show.
Thank you.
Hey YouTube, we hope you benefited from this video. If you liked it, or if you didn't, let us know in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more, check out some of our other videos. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.